I don't know why I ever doubt. Last game, Rockets win game 6. I'm like, I don't know, Morgan. They look a little tired. Those Warriors look a little tired now. Not a lot of time in between games. And knock, knock, game 7 is here.
Thank you.
Steph Curry off to a quiet start with the scoring. Loud when it matters most. The Warriors' defense was awesome. The Rockets' offense was putrid. And the Warriors win game 7, 103-89.
I didn't doubt them for a second. Maybe for a second.
Yeah.
But, it was so exciting to see how the Rockets were playing coming back game 5 and game 6. And, that momentum shift, it will make you think. But, I'm a big track record person.
Yes.
And just what the Warriors experiences as a whole, what they were able to do tonight in this game 7, though, I thought was just fantastic. I thought the main thing that they did was dictate the speed on both ends of the floor the entire night. Like the Rockets didn't even have the necessary adjustments in the second half to keep playing their game or to bounce back and find their rhythm.
It was a tough offensive night for the Houston Rockets. And, some of the issues that we've seen throughout. And those were some of the questions going into the series. Like, okay, what's this going to look come playoff time? And there are stretches like, look good when Van Vliet's going. But I think the biggest thing for me with Golden State is they took care of the ball tonight. And when the Warriors just handle their business, and this was like a very professional approach. This was like a championship level. Like, they're the experienced team. They've been here before.
Yep.
They're locking down defensively. I thought their zone was very effective at times. Yeah, the Rockets sold out on Steph. They wanted to make his life challenging. Well, Buddy Hield scores 22 in the first half of this game. Draymond's making big shots early, so the other step up. The defense remained good. They took care of the ball, and what do you know? Steph ends up getting loose late, does his thing with 14 in the fourth quarter. But yeah, I mean, to me, it comes down to the Warriors defending tonight. It comes and everybody, like even Buddy Hield had moments. Steph Curry had moments. They were really crisp and then taking care of the ball, which they are just a turnover-prone team at times. And tonight they finished with just 7 in this game.
Huge. And I even thought at times the Rockets defense was flying around, picking things back up. But
I mean, they held them to 103 points. It's not outrageous.
Right.
Everything we're going to be talking about with Houston is their offense to me.
Absolutely. No. And so, and I think throughout this game, though, you and I kept saying it wasn't just like the way that they were moving the ball on the offensive end, the way that they were hesitating with everything. It was truly the Warriors defense that was disrupting, that was getting up in passing lanes, that was getting up with that perimeter pressure. I mean, you would see the recovery from someone like Steph Curry, just understanding the urgency of where he was at in this game. Because even when the recovery was there, someone was just trying to be strong with someone like Sengun. It didn't matter if it was Pajemski, Butler, Draymond Green. They all seemed like the stronger one out there because every single time Sengun was missing so many bunnies, so many little short range shots that I've been mean about in this series with him. I make some jokes about it because it's been bad, but they won the last 2 games, right? And in this one, it was like, those are the moments. Those are the shots that were even more deflating. They needed him more than ever. Again, I'm putting so much on a 22-year-old, but still.
And we have some big picture stuff on the Rockets looking ahead. Their future's very bright, but focusing just on that game. No, it was huge. And those feel so much more impactful when other guys like Jalen Green.
Yeah.
Okay, I think that's like a big story in this series, right? Like Jalen Green, 4 times he was held under 10 points in this series. He scored over 12 points once. That was in game 2 when he had 38 points. And tonight in a game 7 where we talked about, hey, can't count on Van Vliet to knock down, 7 threes every single night. You're going to need some others to step up. It just, at some point, it's not sustainable. And tonight in game 7, he ends up with 8 points, 3 of 8 shooting, 0 for 2 from downtown for Jalen Green.
You didn't feel him on either end of the floor.
No, and that's been a problem.
Yes, and that was something we even said last game where, he had that run out block on Pajemski on that corner 3. He was just being aggressive, doing a few other things in game 6. And we're like, look, if you're not going to make your shots, at least make sure you're doing other things. And in a game 7, and in this series as a whole, but in this game 7 specifically, it just felt like you never felt his presence out there.
Going back to Sengun, too.
Yeah.
Because you talk about the bunnies he missed. The Rockets in the paint tonight. 23 of 55. 23 of 55. That is 41.8%. Sengun, of course, does most of his damage in the paint. He was 8 for 19 in the paint at 42%. So, yeah, they won the points in the paint battle from a point standpoint, but when it comes to like efficiency, no, they got destroyed. And that's a huge credit to the Golden State Warriors too.
Absolutely.
But like, I think your big takeaway on Sengun is like, yeah, he's got to be better with that. And the Rockets offense, I think you saw so much of its weakness. It's just like a lot of guys standing around, like ISO mode for Van Vliet or ISO mode post up for Sengun. And with someone like Sengun, like that's what I'm saying. Like with someone like Sengun who has the ability to pass, when guys are just standing around, he's going one-on-one, going up against someone like Draymond, and then he's taking a tough fadeaway jumper. I go, how is that good offense? Well, you have athleticism. You have guys that can move without the ball. They need more off-ball movement in their offense.
The Warriors played a lot more of this zone, whether it's a 1-2-2 or a 2-1-2, whatever the hell it was at times, right? And even with that, like in a zone, there's always going to be gaps. There's always going to be spaces, and you got to attack those gaps, whether you have the ball or you don't have the ball. And how many times were we talking about a flex cut in game 5 and 6 with Thompson or whoever else was just making sure to be in that dunker spot? And we'll talk about him more in a second. But the other thing I wanted to get to was when you mentioned points in the paint, and you're like, yeah, they won in that category. But it's because they didn't even take that many threes. I mean, they left that first quarter with 0 3-point attempts and finished the game 6 of 18. And this is after Van Vliet has been going off from 3-point land.
They took 2 threes in the first. They were 0 for 2 from 3.
Thank you.
But your point's valid. That's the thing. It's like, okay, if you're going to be dog shit in the paint, take 55 attempts, and then you only attempt 18 threes, you're losing the game. It doesn't matter how good your defense was at times. Like there were things they did well defensively. They had their chances. Hell, the run that they had were in the fourth quarter. Early in that fourth quarter, they're hanging around. It's an 8-point game. You know, the Warriors go nearly 4 minutes without scoring a basket, and you just could not get back in it. And yes, you want to give credit to Golden State and what they were doing defensively because they were engaged. Huge. They were flying everywhere. I thought they did a good job limiting the Rockets to one shot and out. I'm looking at the offensive rebounds tonight. 14 to 3. My goodness. Yeah, but I don't feel like that happened as much in the second half either. I mean, Curry had 10 rebounds himself tonight, 22, 10, and 7. But yeah, I mean, if you're going to be talking shit in the paint and you're going to miss threes, like good luck winning games in this league. It's just not going to happen. And so I think that's what's so frustrating for Rockets fans is like, hey, you took this series to 7 against a really talented team with some talented players. You had them on the ropes, but it's your offense that cost you. And so I think the Rockets are going to have to look in the mirror a bit here, just at how their roster's constructed. Like for me, casual Rockets guy, okay? I'm not watching like the hardcore Rockets
casual Rockets guy.
I'm watching going, I need more Jabari Smith. He was a starter at one point, got hurt, and then he's coming off the bench. Like I feel like he's got something to give and fits today's modern game, like the skill set that you want. Thompson's going to be awesome.
There we go. Let's talk about him.
He's going to be spectacular.
How fun was it to even see his game throughout this series? Like, it seemed like it got better and better. Like, he became more and more aggressive on the offensive end and started putting the ball on the floor more, attacking the rim, had some crafty finishes at the basket.
That one offensive rebound tipping he had today.
Timing, everything.
Yeah, and then what he does defensively. Just an absolute pest. And, he was playing banged up a little bit. That calf was bugging him. You could tell. He ends up in game 7, 24 points, 9 rebounds, 3 assists, 9 for 16 shooting. Morgan, you're so right. Like, not only being more aggressive offensively, he's doing that as this series gets longer. There's more pressure. Like, he showed out today. Like, just seeing his physicality. He had one drive downhill where he lowered his shoulder, getting separation on Jimmy Butler and finishing at the rim. You see the glimpses of the feel, too. He's in the corner, fires a beautiful pass inside for an easy look. He's a smart player. He's an elite athlete. And I mean, you start thinking like all of a sudden, if he's knocking down threes in the future,
my goodness.
I'm beyond excited about him. Like,
Same.
embrace him more. Sengun, I think he's going to look back at the series and see some things he can do better. But I think it's also, but it's also Udoka and them implementing and get the right pieces where they have the off-ball movement, which also makes his life easier, right?
Absolutely.
So I'd be really high on him. But then you start thinking about someone like Jalen Green, Van Vliet. You know, what's his future like? I think his leadership is essential. Dylan Brooks. They definitely have some questions for sure.
Yeah, I think what they showed throughout this series, and I think all year long, was their identity as dogs, as the team that, although they weren't going to have the best offense at times, or the best guy, or the guys out there with the best skill sets, they were going to make up for what they lacked with toughness, physicality, with being able to get those stops and pushing the ball, all those different things. They didn't look like that team tonight, and mostly because of the way that the Warriors were playing them, making sure that they weren't going to look like that team tonight. Like, I don't think they didn't show up. I just think the Warriors showed up way more.
No, and you know what? And this is what we talk about for some of the younger guys on the team, where, you know, it does. I'm sorry. Like, if you're going through a game 7 for the first time and you're playing this team, okay, there's some nervous energy. There's nervous energy in the building. There's excitement. There's all of that. And you could see, like, maybe it rattles guys every once in a while. Guys get a little more tight. They're thinking a little bit, you know, and I think someone like Sengun is a great example. I just felt like it got sticky at times too offensively. And you wonder, like, is that just overthinking it because it's the moment? And these are just things you have to go through. Like Thompson, Sengun, these guys going through this 7-game grinder as young players in this league. Like, you're only going to learn from it.
And at least Steph Curry didn't drop 50 in a game 7 on the Rockets home floor. So that's good.
I mean, yeah, and just to be...
Buddy Hield basically
I'm glad you brought this up because it's like, of course you have to bring up like Steph Curry in game 7 against Sacramento.
Because everyone was posting about it today. Oh, Steph Curry in game 7. I'm like, we know.
What's crazy though, he was awesome in this game. 22 points, 10 rebounds, 7 assists, and you're looking at his game going, he has 3 points at the half.
Mm-hmm.
And so I didn't know how to feel at the time. I'm like, okay, should I feel better if you're on the Rockets side thinking, hey... So I but think about this. Hey, we're not really shooting the ball well. They're knocking down threes left and right. We're doing a great job on Steph, and we're only down a dozen. We can get back in this game. But then you look on the other hand, you're going, Steph hasn't gotten going yet. Jimmy hasn't even cooked yet. And so it ultimately favored the Golden State Warriors going forward. That's how the game ended up playing out. But to your point, Steph Curry, that hurts me watching as a Kings fan. But if you're a Kings fan, watching Buddy Hield knock down 9 threes for 33 points
at me like that.
and Tyrese Halliburton going on the road against the Cleveland Cavaliers with a big double-double leading his team to a game 1 victory. Yeah, it stings. It does.
You know, well, it's something every year for a long time that people will be like, how many Kings are in the postseason and actually making a dent?
Yeah.
And then it's like you just said, it's not like I'm thinking about it every single day, but today specifically, those were the 2 games that are on in the NBA. And that is what you're seeing. Yeah, Former King. And I got so many people texting me. I'm like, oh, God. I know. I'm watching.
It's also like, hey, Buddy Hield did it on a TNT game in November. It's like, no, he's doing it in a game 7 on the road. Yeah. That's like one of those performances. If the Warriors end up winning a championship or something, they look back and go, dude, Buddy Hield's game 1. Game 7, he ends with 33 points, 12 of 15 shooting, 9 of 11 from downtown. But yeah, you're right. I mean, he was massive tonight. And that goes back to what we're talking about with Steph, where he's drawing so much attention and he doesn't force the issue. Like, Steph knows he's going to get his. Yeah. He's such a cerebral player. They just got the ball to the right spots, and Buddy knocked them down. He's 0 for 4 last game.
But we've seen in the last couple of games, especially with the Rockets, like, they've been able to manage keeping Steph his life more difficult while also having the same type of tempo and urgency on closeouts and different guys all the way around. And sure, how many times have we talked about Fred VanVleet having these fantastic shooting games, even with the hand in his face? Tonight was Buddy Hield tonight. And I thought some of his shots were a little bit too open. You know, you'd see whether it was a miscommunication or just like just being a step too late. I think that they it's not like they didn't respect what he could do. Like, I didn't think it was anything like that, but I just felt like, you have to treat him like he's Steph Curry after he hit 2. After he hit 2, it was like, you got to treat him like that. And how many times it was swung to the corner, he's making a corner 3, especially late.
And, I think they did all right against that 2 big lineup today, like putting those guys a little bit in action. And if they're helped and, they're helping inside the paint, they have to try to recover on a shooter. It's just problematic, And, And so, they did a good job. You're trying to pick your poison a little bit too. It's like, all right, let's get the ball out of Steph's hands, and then let's see if we can recover. And tonight they just couldn't. And I thought the Warriors ran some really good stuff. I mean, again, this is a veteran team that's been through. They've seen a lot of shit together. They know each other. So.
And what was crazy about Buddy's shot making ability in that first half and just what he was doing out there on the floor and how deflating that had to be for the Houston Rockets. But then I felt like, obviously, in the second half, I don't know if it was so much adjustments being made on Buddy. I just felt like other guys were also getting things going with the Warriors as well. Even when Steve Kerr was throwing in some interesting lineups through this one. I know Moses Moody couldn't get anything going, but I just felt like, especially late in that third and then in the fourth, you had someone like Steph Curry taking it to the rack how many times, right? It was with a reverse, just going straight down the right
great
side.
Player.
And
he's just like,
and he totally is. But my point is, it's like, it was, again, even with him, pick your poison. Okay, he's not shooting all these outside shots.
Yeah.
Boom, he's taken to the rack. There's no rim protection. I don't know where Steven Adams was, Sengun, whoever else. Warriors just did a great job of moving without the basketball, making sure they were spreading the floor out as well. And the Rockets just didn't really have an answer, especially when they were going in their zone. And their zone is always so weird to me. Yep. I never know who's matching up with who, but they always know where Steph Curry is, and that is what had benefited them the last couple of games, but not in Game 7.
You knocked down 18 threes. The opposing team has 6. Mm-hmm. You're going to feel really good about your chances. You're going to take care of the ball, 7 turnovers. You're going to feel great about your chances. And that was, to me, the key for Golden State in this one. And like we had mentioned, the reason why Golden State is here right now is Jimmy Butler.
Yeah.
Look, the Warriors won a game without him in this series. That's another underrated aspect of this whole thing. Like, winning that game without him was big time shit as Steph stepped up in that moment. But Jimmy, 20 points, 8 rebounds, 7 assists, and the turnover, and he played 44 minutes. He's out there defending. He hits big shots. He hits a couple major shots tonight. You're like, God damn.
Late shot clock. Like, he loves a late shot clock. Loves a late shot
and
clock.
And his playmaking, his toughness, his rebounding, and then he making life easier for Steph Curry. So that move was a swing and a home run at this point. If you want to extend the life of this Golden State era run, like they're not in this position. I don't even think they're in the playoffs. Maybe borderline play-in team if they don't trade for Jimmy Butler.
100%. And I mean, it's something that we've all talked about. I mean, national media covers every goddamn second of the day, especially since the trade deadline. I mean, heaven forbid they don't have that in every sentence. But it's like, look, it is what has completely saved their season. Even if it's not necessarily him always providing on the floor, he provides with the standards he brings. And that's something we mention all the damn time. And then, you think about the others for the Golden State Warriors. Pajemski, not the biggest night tonight. He was 1 of 7 from 3-point land. But I even just think the way that he's out there on the floor, always being aggressive, trying to sacrifice his body, making some big moves. Throughout this series, not only will the experience be absolutely amazing, but you just get to see what he can do and how he can evolve and get better. Only 3 bench points, and that was from Looney.
Yeah.
They didn't necessarily need their entire bench scoring for them, doing a lot. It was one of those battle it out games. GP2 didn't even play in this game.
We saw Kuminga did not look good at all, and I feel bad for him a little bit because it was like, we never play you. Hey, can you go there to Game 7 and do some shit? And the first play, he gets in there, Rockets go zone, and he turns it over. I'm just like, I think he missed a couple of shots at the rim. I'm like, oh, this is rough to watch.
Yeah, it's got to mess with you a little bit.
I feel for the guy. But yeah, their starters were massive, and it was Draymond hitting a couple of threes early. Of course, I tell you this, he makes one early, he's going to launch a whole bunch.
I know.
He ends up 2 of 8 from downtown.
I think you thought after he he had the first 5 points. He had that layup, and then he had the 3-pointer. And I remember just thinking like, oh, he's gonna get trigger happy. But you know what he did? He stayed composed all game.
You know what? I'm glad you brought that up.
Yeah, he was.
The one moment with Van Vliet where he had the extra like push into his face after he got fouled, and they went back and reviewed it and gave him a technical.
Yeah, had to hit someone in the face.
They showed him on the bench, and like his reaction wasn't like, "Oh my god, I want to go yell at the ref right now." He was a little animated, and I saw Terry Stotts, the veteran assistant coach, come over and like talk to him. Like, hey, we're good, we're good, and he just nodded like, "Okay, yeah, I got to lock in for this moment."
That was
and
huge for his team. Like we talked about how it just can screw things up, the energy, the vibes for an entire team when you have one player doing that. Even if he's done it his whole career and he's a champion, it doesn't matter. It sucks. And tonight, like. He held that in and did exactly what his team needed him to do. That was be aggressive while making sure to channel his energy in the right way.
Well, you got to remember, like, he's still, 23 years old. He's going to mature over. I'm sorry? What did you say, Jebediah? Mid 35?
Oh, my God.
Oh,
wow.
Okay. No, he
can't teach an old dog new tricks.
You know what? Draymond, good on you tonight, though.
He did.
You know what? Because if he didn't do it, we'd be on him. So we'll give him credit for being engaged.
Doing the right thing.
No, I also thought he made some great passes tonight. He had a really effective night, I thought. He was, he ends up with 16 in the game, 16.6 rebounds, 5 assists for them. And next up for the Golden State Warriors, buckle the F up.
I'm ready.
Oh my God, Wolves Warriors game 1 in Minnesota, like 2 nights from now. Is that right?
Wait, seriously, 2 nights from now?
Yeah, I don't think there's much time off.
It has to be the 6th or the 7th.
Yes. So we're talking about Tuesday night in Minnesota for game.
In Minnesota. Got it.
Yeah.
Yes.
Game
1.
The angles in this series are insane. The Gobert Draymond dynamic. Just Ant in general going up against the Warriors, a team he said he wanted to go through and beat. Dude. Jimmy Butler facing his former team.
Oof.
It's just, I feel like there's going to be some chippiness, and there could be potential for fireworks. This could be Ant's moment a little bit here on a massive stage. Like those games are going to be awesome. This could be one of those series that, Ant's already a superstar, but I feel like if he performs well in this, and they take care of business, I'm going to choke again. The allergies in Sacramento right now are insane. I know you're saying
it's like snow.
Deuce, you're inside. I know, but there's a window open. And I swear, I'm just like, it's pollen in my throat.
For sure.
Whatever it is. Anyway, you know what it feels like a little bit?
What?
Like you take a dry leaf and you just chew on it, and then all the leaf particles get stuck in your throat.
Have you chewed on a dry leaf before?
That's what I feel like right now.
Okay.
Yeah.
I don't have that same problem.
Anyway, if Anthony Edwards has a series, this could be another moment that elevates him to like another level of superstardom.
Because who did he had to go through?
Well, last year, like everyone's like, oh, he beat Kevin Durant. And this year, beat LeBron. And
that's
Luka.
what it was.
Yeah.
So then if it had to be Steph, that would be pretty wild. And how wild would it be if we look back at all of this and Draymond in the beginning of the season just randomly shoves out there, even when they like won 12 games or whatever it was. It felt like really early on they were just like winning a shit ton of games.
He said we're going to win a championship.
And then he said we're going to win a championship. Like, what if it keeps going in that direction? Like that guy, like everyone would be like, you need to manifest everything for me if that's the case.
First of all, I don't like that what if, so I don't even want to like talk about it, but I never want to say never anymore, but I'm like, I don't see it happening. I actually think
you shouldn't doubt anything.
I'm not going to doubt because I do respect what they've accomplished, but like the Wolves to me, they have what it takes. They have a guy that can go get me a bucket, all right? And a guy that's seen a lot of different looks now in the playoffs in Anthony Edwards, Obviously, you're going to need other guys to step up, like Dante DiVincenzo taking on his former team.
But you're going to need Rudy Gobert to actually rebound the effing basketball. You know what I mean? Like what we saw in that last game from him, it was like, yes, this is why you're out there. You're big. Your presence needs to be felt. Like even at times when he's holding his own on the outside and just moving his feet, backpedaling. It doesn't matter if he's on a guard.
Don't take the Draymond bait.
Oh,
because he is going to be doing that early in that one. But the other guy that obviously, I feel like needs to be talked about more is just Julius Randle, who was spectacular in that series against the Lakers. And it was his scoring ability, just his toughness when things maybe aren't going well for them, go get a bucket and not making mistakes. defensively, there's some stuff every once in a while you live with it. But when he was actually pretty good in that regard too. So
Yeah.
I think his size, and if he can be controlled, not turning the ball over and embracing the moment, they've got good size, they've got good depth. I like them in this series.
Yeah, it should be a fun series. That's all. I'm hoping it's going to be a fun series. Because these last 2 game 7s, like actually, no, not last 2. I would say Clippers, Nuggets, obviously a blowout, wasn't what I wanted to see. Tonight, it kind of ended like that.
Yeah.
But I enjoyed watching both teams grind it out throughout this one. And then when you'd see the Rockets kind of chip away, get back in, maybe within 5, it felt like there was always going to be a chance, where the other game 7 didn't really feel that as much.
What would you be saying to Rockets fans tonight? What would be your message to them?
You've got a bright future. Like, yeah.
I think that's the perfect message.
We're in Sacramento, and I just like, I've seen so much bad for so long. And even when we saw good, the Beam Team year, when the Kings made the playoffs 2 years ago, yes, we talk about it like it's a championship.
We talk about the Beam Team era like it lasted 12 years. Remember the Beam Team?
1 year. My point to that is like everything changes so fast. So if you're a Rockets fan, just like appreciate where you got, the experience these guys got, and that where you can go, especially with your youth and with the experience now, after taking on the Golden State Warriors in a game 7.
You've got Thompson and Sengun. I think you can get way more out of Jabari Smith going forward.
Hell yeah.
Tari Easton's a nice young player too. There's stuff there.
Yeah.
And it's about making those tweaks, with the roster, but also figuring out a way to give me some Sengun dropping dimes to cutters. Let's go. But they should feel excited about the future that lies ahead. Tell us how you felt about this series overall. What do you think about this game 7 tonight? Are you a little concerned about the Warriors if you're a non-Warriors fan?
No, I like that.
Yeah. Wolves, whatever. Wolves fans, where are you at? NBA fans, hit the comments below. Make sure to hit the thumbs up and subscribe.
Deuce and Mo. Deuce and Mo. Deuce and Mo. They tell you what they know. Deuce and Mo. Deuce and Mo. Deuce and Mo. The podcast that you know.